Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Meet a Vendor webinar hosted by Workterra. I'm Christy Doe, Shortlister's Meet a Vendor webinar moderator, and I'm really glad you could join us today. Before I turn things over to today's presenters, I'd like to review a few quick housekeeping items, especially for those of you who may be first-time attendees. Our Meet a Vendor webinars take place on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Time. We use a condensed format of 30 minutes that includes a 25-minute presentation followed by 5 minutes of questions. To submit a question, use the GoToWebinar widget you should see on the right-hand side of your screen. There's a little tab for questions. Type them in and send them over, and we'll get to as many of those as we can during the time that remains after the presentation. For Shortlister subscribers, our Meet a Vendor webinars are recorded and uploaded onto our platform. If you want to share with coworkers or want to revisit the content, simply click the tab in the top right-hand corner. It actually says Meet a Vendor webinars, and you can access there. Additionally, you can head over to Workterra's vendor profile to access. So with that, I'm going to hand things over to today's presenters. We have Ben Yomtoob, President with Workterra, and Cole Koning, National Vice President with UHC.
Thank you, Christy. Just to introduce myself and give everybody a little background, I'm the president at Workterra. I've been here since the beginning of last May. Prior to that, I was at Gallagher as an HR tech consultant, and it's been very exciting for me to bring the mindset of a HR tech consultant into being an actual operator, and I'm looking forward to talking with you about how I've melded those two things together. Cole?
Yes, thanks, Ben. Honored to be here. Maybe a terrific opportunity to speak to everybody and everybody in the audience. Thanks for joining. My background is employee benefits, having spent roughly 8 years at Unum in Chicago, and previous to this role, I was also an account executive in Indianapolis with UnitedHealthcare. My primary responsibilities as it relates to my current role is that of national strategy for all things in the middle market for UnitedHealthcare Specialty Benefits, so 100 eligible lives up to 5,000 eligible lives. In addition to that, I own many of our strategic partnerships with national consultants and brokers, specifically to our specialty organization as well. So again, honored to be a part of this conversation, and similar to what Ben said, and my kind of skill set and overarching experience, very much relative to what we're discussing today, and very much relevant to all the things that we're experiencing from a market dynamic standpoint now.
Thanks, Cole. So we thought we would just turn our webcams on for a second to give you a chance to see us, and we can wave to everybody and say hello, and then we're going to go back into turning them off.
Hopefully not too far off from pictures on the page. I've aged a little bit since then.
So what we are going to do today in our brief time together is I will start and give you a little bit of an introduction to who Workterra is. Then I'm going to ask Cole to speak to our partnership and relationship that we work together in the market on. Then talk a little bit about why this might be the right time to be looking for an upgrade for your Ben admin provider for your clients. And then from there, go to what we see as the most important things to look at. And, this is an example of me bringing that consultant mindset into being an operator. These are the things I emphasize and focus on as I run Workterra day to day. And, ultimately we want to make sure that you guys find the best fit for your clients. And along the way, we'll talk about the voluntary benefits and why, in particular, standalone Ben admin systems are a little better suited to that. And as Christy mentioned, we'll leave some time at the end for your questions. So just a bit of a background on Workterra. We have been around since 1987 as a benefit account and co-brook provider. In 2005, we launched Workterra, which is our Ben admin system, and soon renamed the company after that platform. And Career Builder bought us in 2016, and as I mentioned earlier, I joined the company. I used to say earlier in the year. Now it was May of last year. And you see a lot of information here about who we are and what we do. I think the things I would emphasize and leave you with is that we really hang our flag on the flexibility and configurability of our system, our ability to support lots of different Ben admin situations that I saw previously as a consultant and see today in terms of what employers are looking for. Our ability to get the system up and running quickly, most of the time in under 60 days. When it goes beyond that, it's typically because the employer client is ready. And in addition to having the technology, we have the full suite of administrative services. Where I sit, I feel like we exist solely to take work off of the HR administrator's plate, and our goal is to make their job as easy as possible in terms of everything else that they've got to do, and enable them to be strategic about the benefit program. Just to introduce you to a few of our clients that we work with today. You see a number of employers on the right and a few of our broker partners on the left. I know we've got folks from a lot of those companies on today. We've got UnitedHealthcare up in the upper left there, who's been a partner with us for most of our life as a Ben admin system, really going back since 2011. And Cole, let me turn it over to you to talk a little bit about our partnership.
Sure, I'll speak to this at a really high level and really kind of reiterate some of the things that you used to tee up. Similar to the partnership and the mindset, and our value story is distinctively aligned with the member, and ultimately, as well as how we work with our brokers and our clients around meeting the client where they need us. And I think that really speaks to the partnership and the strength of what we've been able to do specifically with Workterra as it relates to what we call our OnlinEnroll offering, which is ultimately a white paper offering to UnitedHealthcare that's powered through Workterra that really offers a robust offering specifically to technology, compliance, all the hot button items that your clients and your prospects are speaking to every day, and then offer it in an affordable fashion. And then last but not least, and probably what's most important, a flexible fashion. Workterra, above all the other vendors that we work with, they're connected to all the various legacy platforms. For those that are on the phone that are very familiar with us, that we have, UMR, UNet, all the various platforms that we have that make us unique as UnitedHealthcare. Workterra is thoroughly integrated with us. And so it makes the experience really impactful in a positive way with the groups that we work on, your clients, and end all be all, we have a very meaningful partnership with our brokers and our consultants and the clients specific to OnlinEnroll, which at the end of the day is probably what's most important and what we're trying to solve for in utilizing the technology around Ben admin and enrollment.
Yeah, thanks, Cole. I appreciate the kind words, and the thought of meeting the client where they are. That is a great way to put the importance of the configurability and flexibility that Workterra tries to bring to clients. And I have felt since I got here and think about it every day is that the relationship between our two companies is one of the strongest assets we have in the market. So it's very exciting to have worked with you guys over the years, and in particular since I joined the company last May. So want to shift gears. The title of our webinar here was, is it time for an upgrade? And like a typical loaded question, obviously at Workterra, we would answer that question yes, but we want to talk a little bit about why this is the right time to look at upgrading your employers, your clients' Ben admin systems. First of all, benefits are very top of mind for employees amid COVID-19. I know all of you have seen that in the surveys and in the different information out there, and you're hearing it from your clients. Secondly, the HR tech is now a must-have. It's not an option anymore in terms of technology that you have as part of your infrastructure. With the shift to remote work, 63% of employers are saying that they need better online resources because of COVID-19. And then the everything we're seeing from a talent acquisition standpoint and the difficulty in doing that means that you have to have good onboarding efficiency and provide a good experience. And as somebody that is out there every day enrolling new hires and other employees into our system, we really specialize in making that experience go effectively and be very successful. And then lastly, when you are with a system that's not working for you, it costs you a lot more than you think, and including some of that being in terms of how employees perceive you, and there's a definite importance now being placed on the employer brand, and part of the employer brand is the sort of systems that you have and the systems that you offer to your employees. And your clients are going to be more and more wanting to have the system that makes them look good to their employees and isn't just something that gets the job done. Any comments or thoughts on any of those points, Cole?
I think it's all very well said. I think if you look at the perception from a member or an employee, and ultimately the folks that we're trying to work with and offering a solution to, beyond obviously the benefits administration with HR and compliance, the platform, the vendor that's being utilized is the extension of the employer. And depending on how the execution goes around open enrollment, or however the platform's being utilized to communicate, engage, and educate the employee workforce, if it goes well, it's viewed very highly and impactful from the employee and their view of their current employer. If it doesn't go well, and it's outside the control of the employer in a lot of instances, the impact can be quite negative as it relates to that employee's view of their employer. And I think the bullets you have here, and specifically around what we all know is the Great Resignation during COVID, the importance of communication and the utilization of technology is paramount nowadays, because the view of what the benefits are and how engaged the employee workforce are can be a direct factor in whether or not that employee values their career at that specific employer, or if they are ultimately escalated towards looking to go elsewhere.
Great points, definitely great points, and that again all points to making sure you've got the system that's the right fit. The big question then is, how do you figure out what the right fit is for you as an employer? And when I was in consulting, one of the questions we would get all the time from a company was, well, just tell us which the best system is. Tell us which one that is, and we'll go with that. There are, in addition to Workterra, there are over 100 other options out there for companies that are doing Ben admin. It's a very crowded market. The exciting part of that means that there's a lot of opportunity for a company like us to expand and take share from our competitors because there are so many of them. The downside is it makes it very difficult for a broker consultant and an employer to figure out which one is the best for them. And as a consultant and now as an operator, I really feel like it's a very individual decision, and it really depends on finding the right match between the employer and the provider. So to dive into each of those points, the first thing that we think you need to look at is flexibility and agility. We talked earlier about companies changing or expanding their benefit. We got a statistic here, 98% of HR leaders are offering a new benefit or expanding an employee benefit, that means a change to the system. And that means you have to have a flexible and agile system that can process changes quickly, set things up quickly. We got a set of questions for you here in terms of what to think about as you're considering that flexibility and agility question. One of the areas where we know that's a big issue because it's been a huge area of expansion is in the voluntary benefits area. And Cole, as somebody who works in that business every day, would you mind talking a little bit about the importance of the Ben admin system when it comes to voluntary benefits?
Yeah, it's super important around flexibility, and I said it before as far as meeting the client where they want us to be, right? Not all vendors are the same as it relates to the solutions that they provide. Just like not all enrollment scenarios and or specifically the needs of the HR or key decision makers of the client, not all of their needs are the same. The ability for a vendor to be agile as it relates to offering all these different flexible solutions and be able to do it in a timely fashion, but then also most importantly, clearly communicate and set the expectations up front. Those are, to me, the number one factors, because as long as you have the open lines of communication and you speak to what you can and cannot do, that's the first step in making sure that the initial first experience with the vendor, the broker, and the carrier goes off in the most positive way possible.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I know a big part of what we're focused on in the future, you know, we've talking about all the changes taking place in the benefit landscape. Employees need more and more help in navigating and understanding all of their benefits. And that is a key focus for us as we go forward, is we want to be that one-stop shop for the employee when it comes to anything related to their benefit program. Next factor we believe is important to consider is service and support. We talked at the beginning in terms of the offerings that we have. If as an HR administrator, you're really going to be able to be freed up from the day-to-day, it's not just about having the right system, but making sure that you've got a team dedicated to you at your provider that is there to manage everything on an ongoing basis, starting from when you do implementation all the way on through everything going on day to day, getting ready for the next open enrollment, meeting with you regularly to give you updates on the industry and get updates from you on your benefit expectations. And we like to say at Workterra that great technology needs great people to support it. And so we put a lot of emphasis on bringing people onto our team that are passionate about benefits and care about HR department's ability to successfully administer those benefits and take that work off of their plate to make sure that they're successful. And Cole, I know this is part of our offering with your OnlinEnroll clients, and what have you seen in terms of how well that works for them?
Your team has more than executed on your commitments as it relates to this. And I say this not just from sitting in this role, but as an account executive previous to this, working in my local market, I sold a number of groups utilizing OnlinEnroll and your team. And the feedback has always been significant and profound from both the brokers as well as the clients. And then also, in most often cases, we sold medical too. My medical peers, timely, thorough, as well as, and I said this before, open lines of communication, as far as the key being, open expectations and having those set on the front end rather than finding out about something on the back end. The timeliness around OnlinEnroll obviously is significant. It's much more expedited and efficient and as it relates to comparing maybe some other vendors out there, because of the integration that we already have. So
right.
Very, very strong partnership, and it speaks to you and your team and how you execute.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks. Third area, ongoing administration. You know, there is, in addition to everything that goes on with making sure that the system is working right for an employer, as we talked about earlier, there's a whole set of other things like ACA tracking, billing, benefit accounts, dependent verification, death claims management, child support orders. These are all things that at Workterra we focus on, again, taking off the plate of the HR administrator so that all they can be focused on the strategic aspects of the benefit program and don't have to worry about anything going on with the day-to-day. And then last and most importantly is employee satisfaction. And this really is at two levels. It's at the individual employee level as they're enrolling and using their benefits. And it's also at the HR administrator level, and making sure that the HR administrator is able to easily understand what's going on with the benefit program at their company, who's enrolled in what, and really having all the tools there that are for both employees and employers. And you can see here, you know, it from a statistical standpoint, what we know is that managing benefits takes up a lot of time within HR, with training and recruiting being the only things that take more time than that. What have you seen, Cole, in terms of employer and employee satisfaction with OnlinEnroll?
It's been significant. I know that the retention speaks for itself, and I know of very few, if not any, of the groups that I've worked on, specifically had my hands on, where the group has moved. They've all stayed and continue to stay from a very long period of time. Call it, 11 years that we've been partnering in this manner. That, for me, the results speak for themselves.
Other thing I want to point out is these 4 factors that we went over. We recently published a white paper with HR executive, and as part of that white paper, there is a scorecard there. And for all of you on the webinar today, that could be a very useful tool for you to work with your clients as they're evaluating their current provider and trying to decide whether they should be looking for an upgrade or not. So with that, let me turn it back over to Christy.
Great. Thanks so much to both of you. That really was a great overview of both the programs, but really to me what stood out is just the collaboration between Workterra and UHC. I really like how thoroughly integrated it clearly is. I think you did a great job pointing out some of your differentiators and frankly being bluntly honest with how many folks there are out there providing like services. And Cole, I really liked it when you talked about the communication and technology that really make a difference when it comes down to, for example, UHC's online enrolling. So Workterra, you got kudos out of it. UHC, clearly you're also partnered with these carriers and brokers that are on the line. So good on for both of you. That was great.
Thanks.
So let's move on to the Q&A. We do have questions. Ben, do you want to pop the slide on with your content? There you go. Thanks. I just want to point out to everybody who's attending that Ben and Cole's contact info are right in front of you. I encourage you to jot it down. I encourage you to reach out to them if you have additional questions for either after we're done today, because I know they'll be responsive. So let's move into questions. We're going to get to, we do have questions that come in. We'll get to as many as we can in the time that remains after the presentation. So again, reach out directly to Workterra if we don't get to your question, and UHC. So Ben and Cole, here we go. Here is our first question. Sounds like this one may be for you, Ben. What employer size does Workterra serve? And is there any specific vertical that they're best suited for?
Well, we have a wide range of employers that we serve because we started with UHC and towards the smaller end of their market. We go all the way down to 250 in terms of the employers that we serve. And we have ones that are in the tens of thousands. But, I would say typically we're in anywhere from the 500 to 5,000 space. And from an industry standpoint, we really serve a broad range of industries. We think the flexibility our system offers is really ideal for larger groups with more complexity, like in the public sector, universities, companies that have union populations, companies that have employees spread out across the country, and that sort of thing.
Great. That and I think that whole union population is huge. So good that you recognize that. All right. So this next question came in from actually more than one person. What does it cost? What does Workterra cost?
In general, our price, I guess I would answer it in two ways. One is if you come directly to Workterra, we have pricing that's on a per employee per month basis, very similar to our competitors. We think we're very competitive in terms of how we do that. Like a lot of our competitors, the more things you buy from us, we are able to spread the cost out across more things. So the cost becomes less on a per piece basis if you do ACA reporting with us and do benefit account solutions, consolidated billing, and things like that. So we're very competitive from that standpoint. And I will let Cole answer the question a little bit in terms of how they go to market with us, because they determine their own pricing as they work with the clients on OnlinEnroll.
Yeah, we have a very much affordable, called economical offering through OnlinEnroll. It's a negotiated PEPM out of the gate based on, as Ben just said, starting at 200 eligible lives and going up. Knowing what I know and working with other strategic partnerships, it's very, very competitive, and we have additional levers to pull there as it relates to our specialty lines of coverage in our portfolio. We've got 9 lines in our portfolio, so dental, vision, disability, life, supplemental life, and then critical illness, accident, and hospital indemnity. They all have technology subsidies, or what we call employer credits now, tied to them that really can drive down the cost to make it, in some instances, cost neutral for the client, so long as they keep those specialty lines in force and they're utilizing OnlinEnroll. So that's been impactful for us, and we've seen a significant amount of growth as it relates to those credits and the partnership with OnlinEnroll.
Great. Absolutely great. All right. So switching gears a little bit, what does Workterra's implementation process look like? How long does it take to set up a new client?
Yeah, I touched on that a little bit earlier. It's no more than 60 days. We do it in as quick as 30 days. Last year, we actually were able to cut our implementation time by a third. So that's something that we're very focused on. Cole, you want to talk a little bit in terms of from the standpoint of UHC and having pre-built integrations with you guys?
Sure, yeah. So, specific to OnlinEnroll, we're connected in all facets of our legacy platform specific to UnitedHealthcare. And with that means those benefits are built on the shelf, which expedites and streamlines the implementation that a standard group would experience with any other vendor. Typical time and timeline around, from beginning to end has been around 30 days in my experience. And so that's very much significant, and obviously with limited HR and broker lift as it relates to the 30 days. So definitely a strong point to the partnership.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
again,
huge.
back to the collaboration partnership, right, between Workterra and UHC. Pretty impressive. So we do have a couple more questions that have come in, but we're right at the bottom of the hour now, and we'll make sure that Ben and Cole get your additional questions, just so you know, and that they can respond to you. You can expect to hear from them. So thank you, both Ben and Cole. It's really a great effort, and your team has been great to work with. Today's presentation was great, and thank you for making the time to share it with the Shortlister community. For all of our attendees on the line, we always appreciate you tuning in for our Meet a Vendor webinars. And again, want to encourage you to reach out directly to Ben and or Cole if you want more information. So with that, we've reached the end of our time together. Again, thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on the line for our next Meet a Vendor webinar, Wednesday, February 9th at 1 p.m. Central. Until then, take good care, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.